Welcome back. You're watching another episode of NewsX Deep Dive. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. Today we're turning our attention to Pakistan's decades-long conflict in Balochistan as it enters a dangerous new phase. With rebel attacks rising, hostage-taking incidents increasing and Baloch leaders gaining influence, Islamabad has escalated its response, including placing monetary bounties on Baloch leaders, intensifying military crackdowns and refusing prisoner exchange demands. The result will a cycle of retaliation, hostage crisis and growing instability in Pakistan's largest, richest but most restive province. Tonight, we're taking you inside Pakistan's bounty strategy, its military actions and the high-stakes prisoner exchange standoff reshaping the conflict. Placing financial rewards on insurgents and separatist leaders is not new in Pakistan, but the scale and urgency have increased sharply amidst rising violence. Pakistan's authorities have historically announced cash rewards for the capture of Baloch separatists, offering millions of rupees to incentivize arrests. In one case, authorities announced a reward of 3 million rupees for a wanted Baloch separatist leader, demonstrating how bounties are used as a key counter-insurgency tool. These bounties serve three major purposes. Firstly, of course, it is a tool for intelligence gathering. Pakistan hopes local informants will provide actionable intelligence on militant leaders. Secondly, weakening insurgent networks. Financial incentives encourage internal fractures within insurgent groups. Thirdly, psychological warfare. Bounties signal state authority in an attempt to portray insurgents as fugitives rather than political actors. Critics, however, argue these measures often deepen resentment amongst Baloch communities who already feel politically marginalized and economically exploited. In its latest spree, the Pakistan government has published the names and photographs of 39 individuals in major newspapers, declaring them most wanted terrorists and also announcing substantial cash rewards for information leading to their arrests. Amongst those listed are Bashir Zaib, the head of the Baloch Liberation Army, as well as key commander of the BLA, Gulzar Imam. Each of them carry a bounty of $250 million rupees, beg your pardon. The total reward amount announced by the provincial government has stood at 1.38 billion rupees. A half-page advertisement titled Most Wanted Terrorist appeared on the front page of leading newspapers, carrying names, aliases and photographs, inviting the public to share information and their whereabouts. But that's not all. The government has also announced bounties on Baloch leaders, including exile leader Brahumdagh Bugti, founder of the Baloch Republican Party. Bukti took to Twitter to say the recent announcement by the Pakistani government placing bounties on exiled Baloch leaders, including myself, is a shameful act that reveals a profoundly low-level mindset of the Pakistani army and its puppet regime. Baloch Republican Party spokesperson Sher Mohammad Bukti has stated the government's decision to declare pro-independence figures as proclaimed offenders and to set bounties on their heads is a state terrorism and aggressive act. He said the decision demonstrates that the state, instead of tolerating dissent, is pursuing a policy of suppression, silencing opposition and spreading fear. According to him, attempting to crush political disagreement through reward lists and threats reflects weakness and panic, while warning that such measures would further worsen the situation in Balochistan. The Baloch Republican Party has added that enforced disappearances, recovery of mutilated bodies and extrajudicial actions in Balochistan have already taken the shape of a serious humanitarian crisis. In such an environment, placing bounties on individuals further institutionalizes what they described as open state repression. Now, to understand Pakistan's escalation, you must understand Balochistan itself. Balochistan is Pakistan's largest province geographically and the richest in natural resources, including gas, minerals, copper and lithium. However, it is also the poorest in terms of development and infrastructure. This economic disparity and political marginalization lies at the heart of the conflict. Baloch nationalist groups accuse Pakistan's military and political elite of exploiting Balochistan's resources while denying locals basic rights and development. The insurgency led by groups like the Baloch Liberation Army is rooted in demands for greater autonomy, control over local resources and even complete independence. Militant attacks have surged in recent years, with the BLA being described as one of the most organized insurgent groups in South Asia. Pakistan's response has been aggressive and controversial. Authorities have carried out military operations, arrests of activists and separatist leaders, detentions under anti-terrorism laws and surveillance and intelligence crackdowns. One of the worst crises in the region is the enforced disappearance of Baloch youth carried out by the establishment. The conflict has now escalated into hostage diplomacy. In the latest development, the Baloch Liberation Army has captured Pakistani soldiers and issued a direct prisoner exchange ultimatum. According to statements by the group, 7 Pakistani soldiers are currently being held captive. The BLA has demanded the release of Baloch prisoners in exchange, and Pakistan has been given a strict deadline to comply. The group claims the captured soldiers are being treated as prisoners of war and has warned of consequences if Pakistan refuses negotiations. This is not the first time such demands have been made. Instead, it shows a clear pattern. BLA uses hostage-taking to pressure the state. Pakistan refuses negotiation and uses force instead. The Pakistan government maintains its iron grip on Balochistan because Balochistan is not just any other province, it is central to Pakistan's economic future. The province hosts the Gwadar port, major China-Pakistan economic corridor projects and vast mineral reserves. This makes conflict not just political but strategic and economic. While Pakistan's bounty strategy and military crackdown may have weakened some networks, it has also intensified the conflict. Hostage-taking becomes routine, military responses escalate, and mistrust between communities and the state deepen. Pakistan's decision to place bounties on Baloch leaders reflects a hardline strategy, one focused on military force, intelligence operations, and financial incentives. But the growing cycle of violence shows that the conflict in Balochistan is not ending. It is, in fact, intensifying. The biggest fact remains the military can neutralize a rebel, but it cannot neutralize a grievance. Until the underlying political and economic grievances are addressed, the violence is likely to continue. The stakes will also only grow higher. Mehran Mari Baloch, representative to United Nations and European Union, is joining us live. Mehran Baloch, what do you make of this bounty strategy being adopted by Pakistan recently?
See, Pakistan has no legal leg to stand on. It is the illegal occupier, the usurper, the oppressor, and it contravenes all international laws and norms when it comes to Balochistan. It has occupied Balochistan. It has no status to issue such certificates of bounty to anyone. It is the occupier. We want to take Pakistani generals and the puppet governments of this sham democracy to International Court of Justice because they are the illegal occupiers and the violators. They're committing wars, crimes against humanity. They're committing war crimes. And yet, on top of that, they are labeling Baloch nationalists and Baloch leaders and activists as terrorists. It's a mockery. I mean, it's a mockery on the international platform to even be debating such things. I mean, I don't understand the world is silent, and I've always said that. The Baloch have to prove their steel and kick these oppressors out of our land. I mean, I don't even know on what grounds, on what legal grounds they could issue such bounties, and then the public even understands it as being the law. I mean, there's no status of Pakistani generals to issue anything against the Baloch. They need to leave the country because from a legal point of view, they're not meant to be here. They're the oppressor and the occupier.
Right. Mehran, also, of course, as far as Pakistan's strategy and recent, push in Balochistan is concerned, do you believe it is being resisted firmly? Do you believe Pakistan has never been on such a weak footing as they are right now in the last few weeks and months in Balochistan?
I think that is partly the reason why they are coming out with these new strategies to deal with this uprising, the latest war of liberation. I think even in Bangladesh's time, they didn't face such a deep struggle or lengthy struggle or protracted struggle from the Bengalis. In Balochistan, they're really facing serious casualties and there's serious setbacks. And with their always, saying that the best military in the world, the best intelligence agents in the world, all the people who are supporting them, like China and America and the European Union, and people like in the Gulf countries who've taken a silent stand on the violations they're committing in Balochistan, they're getting embarrassed in front of them because they see the bloody nose of the Pakistani army in front of the international world. And they are feeling a bit embarrassed, and therefore they've tightened their grip on Balochistan. And as always, they're killing civilians even more now. Now the drone attacks have been carried out in far-flung areas of Balochistan, killing innocent women and children because they cannot face the Baloch fighters.
All right, Mehran Mari, appreciate you joining us on the broadcast with your perspective.